from shopping, so I want to make sure my thing is clear. How's everybody doing? Hey, welcome to the Sunday Live of Life with the Wolfies. As everybody just saw, I had gone to town to do some groceries, and Howie wanted to get out of the house, which is more than reasonable at this point. And so he had a shower, and I warned him not to take it too hot. Like I was going to run him a bath, and then I realized he's going to need to be pushing himself up and down out of the tub, right? So I don't want him doing that. So he had a shower, and I warned him not to make it too hot. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Oh, I better turn this off here so I can see down here what's going on. Let me say hi to everybody. I have to look around my phone for the thing. Angel, Betty Randall, Booze Cruz, Seashelf, Angie Mack, Jean Phillips, Michelle Maria, and hey, Steven, how's the market today? Let me just go back here and go on to live chat because I was on top chat. It's really, really difficult. That night drop cloth background, I built that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Wait till you see what I do downstairs. I made that. That is programmable twinkle lights that come in different colors. You may have remembered it from Christmas time when I have my tree up here. And I just stapled them to the wall. Now that's going to stay up there for the simple reason that are under my clouds. I once had on the wall back there, but I didn't like how they worked, so I built clouds instead. Those are twinkle lights that are run on battery and behind the blue cloth, and the clouds are strip lights. Hey, Aces, Silver Philly, Michelle Maria. How's it going? So, it's kind of really difficult. I noticed it if I put my phone fairly low and I tilt it up, you can see both me and the backdrop. So, not that, I'm pretty sure the backdrop's prettier. But yesterday, like I did this morning, I don't need to drive him anywhere else today, so I'm going to put the fan in a minute. He's doing great. Do you want to say hi? Let's go say hi. Howie, are you decent? Are you decent? Mute the TV for a second. Oh yeah, I know. Don't look at my house because Howie's been my focus, and those are my bean buckets over there. You're not a mess. You're in underwear and boxers. Who cares? Everybody wanted to know how you're doing, and awesome. I told them we went out for a drive, and I'm about to tell them about your trip down the stairs last night or yesterday.
I don't need to hear about it again.
You don't need to hear about it again. All right.
All's well. Thank you. Bye-bye.
He's watching his shows. This is his time to make up for all the time he hasn't been able to watch TV. Oof. Alrighty, let me just get us back in here. So there. Yeah, I let you see that my bean buckets are still sitting there because I got more beans. I dehydrated more beans. I've got probably a full quart jar of dehydrated beans now. Well, the last few days has been really nuts. Since Wednesday, everything's just gone completely. And somebody asked me to talk about when I was talking about how I just kept focusing on one thing at a time, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But now that he's home And I went shopping today. We're going to have stir-fried steak with broccoli and peppers and onion and over a little bit of rice. That's going to be supper tonight, some stir-fried lean steak strips. But other than doing only what I absolutely have to with the house, like make his bed, make sure it was ready for him when he came home, make sure the couch was ready, make sure I've got the food I need in the house for him. Hey, Mocha, how are you, sweetheart? It's a mess, Angie Mac. It really is a mess. But over this week, now I've got to get back to work with videos because I'm really happy and so appreciative that you guys are running my playlists on our Half Acre Homestead and on Reading with Beverly Wolfe and here, and letting them run with the ads. I do appreciate that. This month is going to be really tough financially, and I appreciate that. I'm not asking for donations. I'm not asking for anything, but I am saying thank you. And for those people with unlimited internet, if you go to the grocery store and you want to turn the volume down and leave a playlist running, I greatly appreciate it because that's what's going to get us through to the end of the month, right? Hi, Ginger Gargoyle, Jackie Moppet, Jean Phillips, Sherry Leach, Surviving and Thriving, and Malka. So I've got some projects coming down the pipe. And they're probably going to be I'm going to have to divide my cooking between our Half Acre Homestead and this channel because the cooking's changing, period. But there are going to be some canning videos this week. I'm canning celery this week. There's stuff coming down the pipe. I actually made a list of work I have to get done. Hey! Oreo! How you doing, sweetheart? Fazy! Ginger Gargoyle! Surviving and thriving. So, jeez. I caught it, too. It was a fly on my leg. So I took Howie out to go for a drive today. He had a shower, a warm shower, not a hot one. And I got him a large decaf coffee with 2 milk. And I got him a multi-grain breakfast sandwich so that he had a treat. Okay. How long do you cure potatoes for? I'm not the best one to talk about potatoes. I never seem to have much luck. But I would say spread them out on a piece of newspaper or cardboard or whatever and let the air at them until their skins and the dirt on them is dry. That's all I can tell you. Hey, Ann Lewis. Yes, he is taking it easy. But I got to tell you about the stairs. I took Briar to work yesterday morning. And when I got back, he said, I said, do you want, a toasted tomato sandwich or whatever he said. This was yesterday. And he said, yes, please. He said, but I'm going to get up and go watch TV and let you sleep. I said, oh, okay. Now remind me to do the dehumidifier later, dear. We have a wonky dehumidifier down the basement. Remind me to check the dehumidifier later. We have a wonky dehumidifier. Because our water is hard, it gets calcium and lime buildup, and so the float on the dehumidifier gets stuck. And the machine will continue to run even though the bucket is full, and it will overflow, and it has done several times. So I made sure before I brought him home that I went down and emptied the dehumidifier bucket. And I told him I emptied the dehumidifier bucket. I've never had enough to cure, so thank you. You're welcome, sweetheart. So, hey, Mary, how are you, darling? Mary Reddington is in the house. So anyway, Jeremy and Carmela got married yesterday, and Mary Jane was there, and she even danced. She said her nephew brought her walker right there on the dance floor when she was done because she had to sit, but she danced with her son. I lost another cousin today, and I can't really talk about it because it's not common knowledge at the moment. It's just happened in the last 10 hours. So, and my cousin Donna, Mary Jane's sister, her boarder passed away. But her funeral was on Friday, I guess, and they had said a prayer for Howie while they were before the service, which was really nice. So, yesterday when I went back to bed, Howie, oh, I know, Sherry, I know. Well, thank you, Mary. This cousin had some really major health crash issues over the last few years, and they are now out of that tortured body and free. It's the rest of us that have to deal with the loss, not them. They're free. They have all the answers, right? Hi, Mark. Yes, he's being pampered to a certain degree. They say you want a revolution. You can't stay, but I just wanted to pop in and say glad to hear how he is on the mend. If he will allow it, we know you're doing the right thing on behalf of Howie. Thank you. I'm just really grateful. I'm just really grateful that I'm going to say it one more time. If we hadn't quit drinking over 20 years ago and quit smoking over 15 years ago, he'd have dropped dead 10 years ago or earlier, right? He is what the doctors call a genetic perfect storm for heart disease. It runs in both sides of his family in multiple genetics. So it doesn't matter. All the changes we've done has only saved his life. He's still going to have the issues. So we are now making more changes. Hey, Sandra Moore, Angie Mack. I was a couch camper after my knee surgery. Well, I'm dealing with it, Malka. It could have been a whole lot worse. It could have been my husband too, right? So, hi, Marie. Ace says, if you're wanting to cure them for storage, you'll want to clean and allow them to cure for about 10 days before putting them into storage. Thank you, Billy. I don't have as much experience with potatoes, but I do know you have to let them, clean them and let them dry. You know what I mean? So yesterday when I came home and went back to bed after driving Briar to work, I woke up a couple hours later, and I went out to see how Howie's doing. You can't friggin' leave him alone, hey? So I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I took a puff of nitro, and I went, okay, why? And he said, well, I went down the basement to check on the dehumidifier, and I looked at him, and I took a breath, and I said, honey, you gotta hear me, okay? You just had spring-loaded mesh stents put in your heart arteries. If you raise your blood pressure or stress out anything in your heart or raise your blood, that's why you can't have a hot bath, nothing. You can dislodge those stents. They need time to heal into the artery to become an integral part of the artery. If you dislodge one by, say, climbing a flight of stairs, it can go right into your heart valve and kill you before they have a chance to fix the problem. Now, right now, the problem is fixed, darling, but you have to give it time to heal. And he went, okay. So I know, my chest goes when I think of that, right? But the beautiful part is I wasn't yelling. I was like, he saw the deer in the headlights and me going, you can't do that shit and expect to heal. You got to listen, right? So probable lung cancer. I had not quit cigarettes if I had not quit cigarettes a few years ago. Absolutely, Angie Mack. Absolutely. So today, I'm recognizing his restlessness. Okay, and it's soon going to become restless, irritable, and discontent if I don't keep him kind of occupied. Know what I mean? So today, when I had to go grocery shopping, and it didn't have to be a big one, but I did have to get some more fresh vegetables and some lean meat and stuff like that. Oh, and I'm going to make frozen yogurt. You remember the ice cream I made with the strawberries and the bananas and the coffee cream and the sugar? I've got a better idea. And that's going to be, now which do you want? Do you want supper or do you want the ice cream? I think, well, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard. So, oh, I'm glad you slept well. Hey, Helen22, how are you? Michelle Maria, show how to make I-5. What is I-5? Hi, Stacy. Frozen yogurt, ice cream. I'll have to go back and watch. Just found the notice, hugs and love. Okay, so today when I went shopping, Howie said, well, I said yesterday I have to go into Giant Tiger tomorrow. And he goes, well, maybe I'll come with you. And I said, okay, but you'll stay in the truck, right? I said, you promised to stay in the truck. I'll make sure you have Timmy's. So he got up, and I cautioned him not to have a hot shower, but to have a warm shower. And asked him if he needed my help. Of course, he did not. I didn't want him bathing because then he'd have to push himself up and out of the tub. And he has a tendency to have, hi, Stacy. He has a tendency to have hotter baths than is necessary at the moment. So, stay away from red meat. He's still getting used to it. Well, I've fed Howie chicken for what's today? Sunday? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days straight. He's getting beef tonight, but it's lean and it's strips for stir fry. Okay? So trust me. Anyway, so he got dressed with my help. He didn't want my help, but he got dressed. I helped him with his pants. And we took Gracie. Of course, she wasn't leaving him. So we took Gracie, and we went to town. And I went to Tim Hortons first. And I got him a large decaf coffee with double milk. And I got him a 12-grain breakfast sandwich bagel and a hash brown for Gracie and a blueberry muffin as a treat. Because he's been really good. But these are the things you gotta do. You gotta know when enough is enough and give them a little bit of rope. Because otherwise there is going to be mood swings. Heart attacks will cause, because when you have a heart attack, it releases enzymes into your blood. That's how they know you've had a heart attack, by testing your blood. Not just the EKG, they test your blood too. And this can cause mood swings, and especially the fact that somebody who works as hard as he does has to sit down and do nothing, pretty much, right? Hi, Leanne. I'm doing really well. My dad's heart attack was a big eye-opener. He's now not living in a hoarded, moldy house. He now lives in a nice apartment on the river. He walks daily. Right. Thank you. Hey. Okay. Bella U 93. So then I went into Giant Tiger and I got fresh broccoli and peppers and more onions, and I got the little package of a little package, but it was $8, but of lean meat steak strips. And I'm going to do a few projects that are we're going to do some heart healthy ideas, right? What did I miss? Did you see you hit 100K? Yeah, I did hit 100K on our half-acre homestead. But to tell you the truth, as wonderful as that is, it's been happening so slow over the years because I have been making relationships. What just happened? Do you want a card pulled? Who just tipped me? It's showing up here. Marie, would you like a card pulled? Not everybody is into cards, but I have been for a very long time. I just haven't broadcast it. I have Moonology and Work Your Light Oracle cards. I am. Well, every meal I cook from now on is going to be a healthy meal series, right? So, like yesterday, last night, I took this. Remember, I made them. You just let me know if you would like a card pulled and whether do you have a question? Because if you do a super chat, bing like that, and you got a question, I will pull you a card if that's what you want. Because I'm in a really good headspace right now, and I'm grounded and I'm centered. And guess what? Today is the new moon. So I will be out in my pool again tonight, naked, doing the moon goddess dance or whatever. Just don't even go there. But thank you very much, Marie. I know. I'm going to. Yeah, I love Elvis. What is? Oh, well, so what? Who doesn't love Elvis? Chia seeds are so good for you. I know. I've got all of these things going. Yes, moon. Okay, so I'm going to start shuffling for you while I talk. I'm going to have a puff first. So when we got home from going to Giant Tiger, of course, Leanne, I live in the middle of nowhere with almost no neighbors and I'm surrounded by trees, right? So guess what? I swim naked because this body has so many creases, folds, flaps, and hanging things that getting into a bathing suit is torture. Getting out of a wet bathing suit is hell on earth. So I have a tendency to swim naked. Or if it's daylight, I will just throw on a tank top and a pair of underwear and jump in. Celery seed. Oh, good. I'm glad. Howie's doing much better. So when we got home, I said to him on the way home, now you listen, you watch how I bring the groceries in the house when you're not here. And he goes, no, I'm going to help. I said, I'll let you carry the bag of bread. That's it, Howie. Okay? I'll let you carry the bag of bread. And I do what I always do when he's not home. I carried the groceries to the steps and I went back and I carried more to the steps. I put them on the top step. Then I climbed the steps and then I took them in the house and I put them away. Hey, Vincent Pellegrino. Hello, my darling. Okay. Hi, Nubalacious. How's it going? Oh, and Briar's talking about going grain-free too, gluten-free. So, now Marie, do you have a question for the Moonology cards? Or is this just a general reading? I know it is. I have to let him do a bit. Okay? I have to let him do some things for himself. I have to let him do a bit, and then I reward. The decaf Tim Hortons is a big reward. Why? Because he's not getting coffee at home. I'm going to throw it all out and replace it with decaf. Because guess what? It's kind of like drinking alcohol. I told him, treat it like booze. Okay? Stay away from the first drink. If you get used to tea and decaf coffee, now it will be much easier later on down the road. Okay, Dave's Killer Bread, thin sliced. You were on your feet way too soon. Okay, so Marie. It was Marie, right? All right, Marie asked for the moon cards. And tonight is the new moon. And what does the new moon represent? Let me just look at my little book here. I have to kind of turn this light on. Oh, sorry. The new moon, when the new moon is in phase, everything is about forgiveness. See, I still check the book because most of the stuff is intuitive, but there's guides for a reason. So the full moon, that's the full moon. The new moon is all about things being a clean slate, potential, and dreams. Okay? That's what's happening tonight is the new moon. Clean slate, potential, and dreams. All right? So, we are going to I'm waiting on results from the hospital. Okay, you don't need to say any more. And let's just see. This is a general inquiry for Marie Ince. Whoa, okay. This one's going back. And this one came out that way. And we're just going to give another shuffle. Because a tip, whoa, shoot, a tip like that deserves more. Whoa, more than one card, and it is giving us more. Okay. All right. So, your bottom, hey, Case Corner. Okay. Your bottom card, I can turn this off now. Your bottom card is inverted. Now, this is the card that is the base, right? We are in a new moon, right? Tonight is the new moon, okay? And that's all about clean slate, potential, and your dreams. This base card is going to set the tone for the next, 3 cards, okay? I just had to put them in the proper order. So, your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. Now, full moon is all about forgiveness and results, but this was inverted, okay? So your dreams need a practical plan, but you also still need to have your dreams. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a practical plan. Just think about your dreams in a more practical way. Does that make sense? Because we know that with everybody has the potential to do whatever their heart desires, to have whatever their heart desires, but sometimes we got to put it into a practical plan. So your dreams need a practical plan, but the accent is not on practical, the accent is on plan. Does that make sense? And your first card is Prosperity Lies Ahead, New Moon, which is tonight, New Moon in Taurus. Now, this is also an inverted card, which means your prosperity lies ahead, but it may not necessarily be a monetary thing. It may be a health issue, okay? So don't focus so much on the prosperity as towards the good news that lies ahead, okay? And your next card, bring love into the situation. Again, an inverted new moon. Bring love into the situation. New moon means clean slate, forgiveness, results. But inverted means you need to be a little more careful about bringing love into the situation, because sometimes love can mean chaos. So be careful who you share your dreams and plans and what you're looking forward to, because I'm sensing this is a really sensitive situation, and you really want the people that you love, that you want to bring into this. Make sure that the love is reciprocal, because not everybody loves us the way we love them, so you have to be careful. All right. And another inverted. Have faith in your dreams. Oh, waxing crescent moon. Let me just look at that. Have faith in your dreams. That is also inverted. But what is the waxing crescent moon? I haven't had that one. Waxing crescent moon. Courage, moving forward, and faith. Have faith in your dreams. But remember, you have to be practical. You have to have a plan, but do have faith. Okay? Stuff is going to start moving for you. And sometimes falling apart and falling together, as we all know, can feel exactly the same. Okay, Marie, did any of that make sense for you today? I hope it did. Hey, ski bugged. Effects of caffeine is it constricts the blood vessels when someone drinks regularly caffeine. The body adjusts in essence, fighting this effect when caffeine isn't consumed. Result is blood vessels dilate too much. Well, he's still getting caffeine. He's still getting a morning cup of tea. He gets 2 cups of tea, caffeinated tea, in a day. I just gave him one. But the truth is the coffee is a really bad habit that we want to get. Like when he goes back to work, I'm sending him with a coffee maker and a can of decaf coffee. And he can have that all he wants. But the danger is in him picking up the old habit of having a dark roast with 2 cream twice a day, and then drinking coffee all day at work. These are the habits that we're taking the time to disrupt and hope for healthier ones, right? Oh, well, thank you, Leanne. That is, I don't know if my clouds are actually fading or not. They're supposed to be fading. It changes color really, really slow. It's actually much more vivid when it's darker in here. Okay, I'm glad that made sense for you, and thank you again for the support. It means a lot. So, okay, what else? So when we got home today, he was, oh, and that's another thing. He has to remember to carry his nitroglycerin spray. If you want to remind yourself of the beauty. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Seashell. I chlorinated the pool this morning. As soon as he got outside, as we're going to the truck, tomorrow's garbage day, and Tuesday is recycling day. And he said, oh, I'll get those up. I said, no, you won't. And he said, yeah. I said, Howie, they're not even a quarter full. They can wait a week. It's that simple. Lifestyle Report Canada. You can connect me. What did I see, Marie? Hey, Taylor, I have not been well, just managed to catch you live. Well, I'm really, and what would this interview be about, BBC Lifestyle Report Canada? I got a palm tree on an island tattoo when I was in Maui so I could bring it home with me. Oh, that's a gorgeous idea. I love that idea. Thank you, Marie. I don't know if they're changing. Let me just see if I can't. They're supposed to change and fade, but it's nicer when there's not as much light going on in the room. And hang on a second, I forgot. Oh, well, looks like the Bitch Factory's here. Hi, 5 thumbs down. Here's a kiss. Mwah. Here is any negative intentions you intended for us or me, wrapped in love and harmony, and sent right back to you because we don't need it. But thank you, I just love, see how it looks like there's a streak of light coming down out of the clouds. And BBC, I know who BBC is, the British Broadcasting Corporation, is a world-renowned publication, and we would like to talk about post-pandemic homesteading. Well, I'm not really homesteading, but I am But I'm not. We're just not raising animals anymore. And thank God, because I'm pretty sure the heart attack would have happened sooner if we had to overwinter like pigs or goats or anything this year, because that was a lot. I'm going to send that. Sorry about that. That is, I have to go over here. Excuse me for a second. I have to let my family know where I am, where they can reach me. So did I share this on Facebook at all? But sure, I mean, I can help with whatever, but I know that the changes that are coming down the pipe are going to make this world a scarier but better place. You know what I mean? Hang on a second. I just got to send this to Mary Jane so she knows where I am. And I got to send it to my sister. Come on, come on. There you are. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I know the glare shines off my glasses. Do you find homesteading different post-pandemic? It was harder. It was not as hard for me as it has been for some people. A lot of people in the States are really having a hard time still finding lids and jars and seeds. I have been really blessed, and I have been blessed with a wealth of lids and jars, but I need seeds. So that's something I'm not sure how well I'm going to have, but I am going to change my tomatoes. Hey, Angie! I think more people are getting into homesteading. Well, let me put it to you this way. Thank you. Hi, Donna Rishi. How are you, darling? Sandra Moore. We had to sell off all our livestock after Bill's heart attack. Lids are nowhere in Michigan. Well, you can order lids and seeds online. And somebody found them in another place online earlier this week and posted it. They're still hit and miss. So after canning season, stock up. But what I am finding, honestly, is some of the change. Isn't that gorgeous? See it going pink and then red. What I'm finding right now is that the change is coming. There's huge change coming. And remember, folks, hey, under pressure, pushing down on us. This is our lives under pressure. Hi, Wanda. How are you? Amazon has lids. You can look at Lehman's.com, Uline.com, Walmart.com, any places like that, Amazon. But what I have been talking for a couple of years now about, since before the pandemic started, that something was coming down the pipe. And it's been really terrifying. It's been really frightening. But the truth of the matter is, it's all going to be okay. Guys, it's all going to be okay. The world has to go through a reset about how we are living and living in the construct of our lives. Okay? So what I'm saying is, remember I talked about the matriarchal spirit has to rise. Do you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing remember I said they were opening a tourist information center? Well, apparently there's an agricultural store, like I don't know if the farm across the road from the old restaurant that got tore down bought the place, but the farm now has a sign that says magazine. That means store, right? And they sell eggs and they're selling vegetables and all those things. So the land around me has been sold. There's a rumor about what it's going to be used as. And if the rumor's true, it's going to be awesome. You know what I mean? We have to turn our minds back to basic living, healthier living styles, not depending so much on grocery stores. Learning that if you can't lift a canner, you can lift a dehydrator. Okay? All of these things that were normal 100 years ago, home gardening, home canning, raising chickens in your backyard if you can. All of these things used to be normal and were encouraged by the government. But this whole pandemic was a 50-50 shot about how it was going to affect the rest of the world. Do you feel there will be a worldwide lockdown and it will impact preppers and homesteading in North America? No, that's not going to happen. They're going to try, but we're not going to allow that to happen. The whole point, so give me a second. The whole way this pandemic, whether you believe in it or not, whether you believe in shots or not, that's not the issue. That's just the negative, dark side of our realm trying to discombobulate, distract, and disable us so that we rely on somebody else or something else. Hi, Homestead Tessie. Good luck getting my seed stash. So next town over, a family farm is now raised by women. Bev, I just had to say, wait a minute, to my daughter, to my daughter. Okay, so I am not going to look at the comments for a minute because this has to come without interruption. Okay, I can turn off my fan for a second. All right, so I remember feeling the moist, scratchy, wet blanket that kind of fell down over me as I was going to sleep one night in October 2019. And I knew I woke up enough to tell Howie something really big's coming down the pipe. Now, what is happening, whether you believe it or not, I talked about this, and I also wrote on this. I talked about this the other day, how when I was in the late 1980s, early 1990s, I felt that this was the gray area of our world, and these corners were dark. One was dark, one was light, and this is the gray area. Now that was back in 1989 when I remember talking about this with some spiritual friends and some religious friends. And I said, that black, that darkness and the light are now doing this. And they're soon going to meet. I want to say collide, but it's not collide. And as this is happening, we're about right here right now. This is the dark, this is the light, and the gray area is less and less and less. Okay? So what is happening is that gray area has been a veil over our subconscious minds and our spirit course, our connection with the source of our light and our faith. Okay? That has been a veil covering all the important stuff that, so that we would follow blindly, like, I'm not going to say sheep, but you know what I mean, right? So as the gray veil disappears, the light side of the spirit realms and the dark side of the spirit realms are pushing out the gray, and that gray, that veil is becoming very, very, very transparent. And when the light and dark sides of the energies in this world meet, the veil will be completely gone. And everybody's going to get a really rude awakening. Now, I've been talking about 15, 16 months. And you can poo-poo me all you want. That's okay. I know what I know. All right? And I also know that everybody has a job. Whether you believe me or not, everybody on this planet has a job. Some people are volunteers, volunteer sheep. They are out there. Some people are automatically volunteers for the dark forces. Some are trapped, but the whole point is everybody has a job. We wouldn't be able to focus on the light of love and joy and acceptance going forward if we didn't know that darkness was always lurking, right? Well, I've been saying about the next 15, 16 months, but what I'm saying is for the awakened, the veil is gone. It is completely gone. But there are people who are still still picking a side, right? Everybody is being awakened on this planet to their purpose. Whether it is a purpose to remain blind to what's going on, that's still their purpose. Okay? We cannot judge somebody else's purpose. All we can do is focus on our own and hope we don't screw it up. Hey, Julie. So, oh, thank you, Julie. Do you feel the food supply chain will be impacted, forcing more families to grow their own crops? It has already been impacted. Okay? It's already been impacted. Okay? We've been encouraging, okay, the pandemic hit, and everybody who could possibly raise a garden, okay, with, or even anybody with a glimmer that the veil was fading, saw that we had to become more self-reliant. So it's not about necessarily just growing a garden. It's about supporting your local farmers, supporting local industry, turning away from the big box stores, okay? And keeping things as close as you can to within a 100-mile radius. And it's not easy to do. But the truth is, and the matter is, that the social structure that we have been a part of, and you're going to hear me say this often, the social and money is not going to be, money is no longer really exists. Money now is just an exchange of numbers, electronic numbers. Okay? Don't fight it. Pretty soon money's going to be useless. The next 700 years are going to be insane. But our journey right here is to make sure that it's going in the right direction. Okay? The social structure that we have been programmed into following, believing, and living in since man first gathered in caves and raised one above themselves to be the chief. And usually it was a man, okay? It has been a patriarchal structure that has been built from that day forward. And it no longer is sustainable. It's not sustainable for our planet. It's not sustainable for industry. It is not sustainable for us. So the truth is, and told them that I had a vision where I was told to collect seeds, and many laughed at me 7 years ago. You know what? I had a case of seeds. People sent me seeds from all over. I shared them all last year. You want to see how many seeds I have left? I have probably 15 packs of seeds. So I will be ordering more, okay? But the social structure, what I'm talking about, is not male-female, okay? Our spirit is neither male nor, well, it is male and female. It carries both. Now, this is what I want to say. Your soul is neither male nor female, but the spirit within you can rise to a female or male vibration depending on what you're looking for. All right? And the male vibration is shaking our planet apart. All right? So the female vibration, the mother vibration, the grandmother vibration, the elders vibrations have to come to the forefront and teach us how to save ourselves and our planet, and stop looking at necessarily looking at church higher structures, political higher structures, health higher structures, all of these structures that have been put in place to control us. I'm not saying become an anarchist. I'm just saying you might want to adopt a little bit of anarchy into your anarchist beliefs into your life. And I really hate labels. So let's put it this way. Hey, Tigger Bouncin'. We have to stop doing things the way they've always been done because it's not working anymore. And we have forgotten that we have a say in how we live and how this planet is we are the caretakers. And right now, as caretakers, we're crap, we're cancer, right? Now, I'm not one of those environmentalists or anything. I'm telling you folks, stop looking at life the way you always have. Step on a new square and look at it from your heart and from your soul. And do what you can to raise your vibration. Because when we raise our vibrations to love and light and honesty and acceptance, when we raise those vibrations, we raise them with everybody that comes within our touch, within our connection, right? What's going on? Where's Nana? So do you feel homesteaders should rebel against the government so we can take care of the earth the way they destroyed? Not sure rebel is the right word, because that is also a patriarchal energy. Rebel isn't the word. We need to stand. We need to lead by example. And we need to stop accepting everything that comes from the hierarchies in the social structures of our world. Okay? We need to stop looking at them as if they're the end all be all and they know everything, because apparently they don't. We have to start listening to our heart, listening to our guts, and listening to the people that love us. As long as that love is not a toxic, okay? Because I'm getting so tired of the word love being bandied about. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. You know what? That's a bastardization of the word. There's so many other words you can use for, oh my gosh, this is the best cup of tea ever. But do I have to say that I love it? Because love is an emotion that you share with another sentient thing, not an object. So we have to stop looking at objects and things to be worthy of worship and love, and start looking to the things that matter the most. And we need help, right? Government should not be so eager to take rights away. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I have not heard from Dallas. I have not heard from Dallas. And I have emailed her, and I'm going to email her again today. So we will see. The homesteading community needs to come together and unite in a positive way to help each other out. Well, that's what the homesteading community on YouTube was all about, is helping each other. But like anything on the internet, people have to use critical thinking and not just follow blindly. You don't follow anybody blindly. Why? Because they're not God. They are not the creator of all. They are not the source of everything. The moment you raise another person above you in a position of power, you give them your power. And it's time for us to let the governments know that we are aware that we have given them this power, and we can take it back. Okay? We are aware that anybody in a high position of power and authority, I don't care if you're in the United Nations, I don't care if you're in the World Health Organization, I don't care if you're a president, a prime minister, or a pope. When you get that high, you didn't get there without bending the rules or justifying decisions that made you go, we listen to the, that's what we got to listen to. You feel me? Do you feel homesteaders should be allowed to grow medical plants like marijuana, poppy plants to alleviate the stress on large cropping farms? Absolutely. Don't know about poppies because I'm allergic to opioids. Now, would I be allergic to pure opioids? It would probably kill me. But I know I'm allergic to the pharmaceutical counterparts. Okay, so opium is a really tricky one. All right, opium's really tricky. That's where you get heroin from. Okay, the coca leaf, before it's processed, is a natural plant. Okay, just because it's been bastardized into cocaine doesn't mean it doesn't have healing properties, right? Marijuana is in my greenhouse right now. I'm a Canadian. Okay. And before it became universally legal in this country to use not just medical marijuana, but recreational marijuana, and to grow your own in small quantities, like I think I have 5 plants. Before that, I was legalized in 2013 as a medical marijuana user, and Howie was my medical grower at the time. And they couldn't take it away from him because it passed before they changed the law. And I was allowed to have 19 plants growing at one time, as long as they were autoflower, or 5 plants that weren't autoflower. But I was allowed to have, if I wasn't growing autoflower and I was growing 5 plants, I was still allowed 15 more plants in the house at different stages of growth so that I never had to run out. Who is they? The government usually, in the past anyway, gave people what they wanted. Well, see, that's the problem. We got used to it. All right? We got used to it. Everyone says, oh, Canada gives free health care. No, it's not free. I had to take out a loan because we didn't do our taxes throughout the pandemic. 2 years for Howie, 3 years for me, and I'm self-employed. I'm a poorly paid self-employed employee of YouTube. You do not want to know what 2 years of taxes for Howie and 3 years for me came to, with penalties and late fees. Okay? But it meant I couldn't buy a generator, for another 5 years, 10 years. It's not legal in US, not every state. It is going to be legal federally across the country. It's going to become, before this is all over and said and done, they're not going to be able to stop it. Too many people know that it should never have been classed as a drug. It's always been an herb. But opium, I don't know. Opium poppies, that's a substance that can be really dangerous because opium can kill you if it's not done right, and if you take too much. It's highly addictive. Marijuana is an herb and is not. It is addictive to some people on a psychological, who are already psychologically addictive behaviors, right? But I'm a 24-year sober alcoholic, and I use medical marijuana for pain. Now, I have emergency oxycodone pills. I get 10 a month. And I am choosing not to take them anymore because I discovered when I take them, it changes my personality. So when it comes to substances that can kill, growing your own has to be regulated, right? Yes, Seashell. I love me some magic mushrooms if I can get them. Magic mushrooms in small doses really go a long way to helping my marijuana. Well, let's put it this way. If I eat a gram of dried, uh, properly medically grown magic mushroom, if I eat a gram of mushrooms and smoke a medical marijuana joint, I will be pain free for at least 2 hours. Now, until I've discovered that combination, and I don't do it more than every 5 or 6 months, but when I found that combination, it's the first time in 30 years that I had, or 20, because let's say 25 years. No, I've been in pain since the day I met Howie, so since before that. I had, that's the first time in over 20 years that I was pain free for any length of time, unless I was under anesthetic, right? So microdosing is the way to go. I know. Well, one gram is tons. 1 gram is tons. That's 1,000 milligrams, right? And you have to be responsible, right? Federal government will tax and control it just like cigarettes, petroleum, and alcohol. Except those things kill people. You know what I mean? It's so stupid that, you can, what's poisonous? Foxglove. Do you know what else is poisonous? Lily of the valley, white oleander, rhododendrons. These are all poisonous. And one woman said, "Oh, don't grow foxglove in your garden. Your dog eats that and it'll kill them. It's a heart medication." Yeah, that's where heart medication came from, was from foxglove. Okay? But my dogs are smarter than that, and as am I. All right? And those things are legal to grow in your gardens. But they're friggin' deadly. Marijuana? You'd have to eat 1,500 pounds of unactivated marijuana. Like, you'd have to eat 1,500 pounds of marijuana for that to kill you. You can overdose on edibles. If you really overdose on edibles, you can screw some of you. You'll burn some brain cells. But the truth is, I'm sorry, I have to drink a cup of tea this big, slow, or my stomach would explode. They are using it in some places along with LSD to control in a controlled setting. LSD is a chemical derivative. So unless it's actual, I don't want magic mushroom pills or capsaicin, whatever it's called. I would rather have the dried mushroom and have a gram once every couple of months. You know what I mean? With a joint, so that I can sit in my chair and hear my heart beat and watch the room breathe and relax. Anything more than a gram could be really dangerous. Not dangerous, but you got to be careful. You can start hallucinating, and it can be bad. You mentioned livestock, and I noticed you have a strong faith. Do you believe farmers should be tax exempt like church for doing one of the oldest professions before? I think farmers are caught in the trap of subsidies in North America. Excuse me. My bum hurting me. Yeah, cocaine was used in Coke and Coca-Cola, like 6 grams, right? But that's when they started noticing. They used to put THC and cocaine in cough syrup. Okay? But cocaine today, the way we know cocaine today, that shit is deadly. Okay? And it's getting cut worse and worse. Any kind of illegal street drug is dangerous for a reason. That's why the herb marijuana, the herb marijuana should never have been treated that way. It should never have been. But as for farmers being tax exempt, I don't know how that works. I really don't. But I know if they earn an income from their farms, Like if they show an income, then yeah, they got to pay taxes like everybody else, right? But they shouldn't be taxed on the stuff that they raise for themselves. Anything that gets sold is different, right? It's mixed with who knows what exactly. My psychedelic days are over. I just got bad trips after a while. Um, I never used mushrooms before last year. And that was because I suffer. I'm pretty much borderline bipolar, but my antidepressant meds that I've been on for 29 years are managing it, right? They're managing it. As long as the doctors don't try and change that medication or change, like I am on very few medications. I have oxycodone for emergency pain, which I'm not even going to get filled next time. I have a lorazepam for bedtime, and I have fluvoxamine for my mood disorder, right? Now, if I had gone to see a professional instead of my GP 29 years ago, I probably would be on a whole lot more medication. But it took 6 months for us to find my level that it worked. So I don't interfere. And every doctor I've had to break in, I've had to tell, do not mess with my medications. These are the only ones that really work. So please don't ask me to take more medications or change my medications, right? Rope used to be made out of hemp, still is. This is why legal dispensaries are needed, so people know the product just isn't tampered with. Here, some dealers would lace weed with other. All you have to do to flip me out is lace my weed with tobacco. I would lose my shit. Why? Because tobacco was my monster addiction. Hell, quitting drinking was easy compared to quitting cigarettes. I had been an inhaling smoker since the age of 12. When I quit at 38, I was 2.5 packs a day. I hear kratom is really good for pain too. In Mexico, farmers are so depressed due to the pandemic that they are killing each other. Do you feel this is a trend that will spread throughout North America? No. You see, that is a negative solution. And I don't think they are killing each other out of depression. I think if they're doing that, there's a reason behind it and they're being egged on. That's not going to happen across North America. North America and the world, at least the civilized world, is going to come to understand that how we treat the planet from this point on will define how we end or remain on this planet. The governments, the World Health Organization, I can't answer the phone right now, Mary Jane. The governments, the World Health Organization, powerful church organizations that in the higher ups. I'm not talking about the people that are in the pulpits trying to raise people's vibrations with love and spirituality and hope. Okay, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that corrupted their way to the top. That is not sustainable any longer. And what's going to happen across the world is farmers are going to start turning to each other, where there's going to be more farmer co-ops in the sense where there's going to be organizations where farmers are going to get together and are going to say, okay, my land is best suited for this right now, or this, and this. What is your land best suited for? Maybe you got a farm that had too many pine trees and a lot of granite and rock. Wow, that's blueberry soil if I ever heard it, right? So I mean, farmers are going to start turning to farmers because science has failed them. So they're going to start returning to the old ways of doing things. Okay? There is a reason why, even with genetically modified soybean and corn seed, there's still a reason why farmers swap the fields every year because corn leaches nitrogen from the soil, and beans put nitrogen in the soil. So that is an old behavior that is still standing true. Yeah, actually, absolutely. I use lorazepam before medical procedures. It takes the edge off. Prevents a panic attack. Well, they told me that Howie told me that he went through the angiogram and the stent procedure with on nothing more than Benadryl and Valium. He was high, but he wasn't asleep. He watched the whole thing. And that to me is miraculous. But if they had given me the Valium, I would have gone through the roof. Valium and Librium are two things I can't take. It has the opposite effect on me and sends me through the roof. There's a difference between science and science spelt with a $sign. I absolutely agree, Aces. Are you interviewing me now? Do you feel the farmland should be given back to the natives like myself, who is Cherokee? That's a really sensitive subject. I think corporate-owned land we can't change what has already happened, okay? But we can change how we handle it from this point on. Do I believe that the indigenous communities, that Native people, have been abused? Absolutely. But I also say that this bringing forward of the mass graves, this horrendous, heartbreaking stuff that is going across our country and across Ireland and across the US, where where genocide has happened. That's been going on for a very long time. It didn't stop. The last residential school here closed in 1996, and we were not educated about those residential schools. Somewhere in the back of our brains, we knew they existed. But as far as we were understood, those who even had a glimpse, we understood that it was for Native children that lived way out away from school so that they could go to boarding school to be educated and raise them up so that but it was not, it was genocide. But it was also brought to light now for a reason. They are trying really hard. They tried it with Black Lives Matter. They have tried it we are at an 80-year cycle, right? And what they didn't accomplish with Black Lives Matter, they're now bringing it up. They're bringing this forward for the natives to create more chaos and more division between people. Do I believe our native people have been treated wrongly? Yes. Do I believe they need restitution? Abso-friggin-lutely. But can we give them back all the land? Maybe some that is government controlled. But I think we have to go back to the native way of thinking, which land belongs to everyone. There are no borders. There are no ownership. That's not the way they lived. That's not the way we lived. Okay? We lived. There were tribes that were more agricultural, where we got our Three Sisters gardening from. There were tribes that were more nomadic. Do you know why all the buffalo were slaughtered? Because that was the main source of food we can't go back to the way it was. We can't. but we can change how it's going to be. And that starts with us right here. It is time to raise our vibrations and raise our voices. Okay? It is time for people to stop being divided. We are one race. We are a human race. And no more should we raise people above us and give them the power to do these kind of horrific things. We all got to have a level playing field, and real soon, or we're not going to live through it. Hey, Yoshi! Last question. Do you feel Source will heal the lands and we live in peace and harmony while we are still alive? Yes. While humans are still alive, yes. While we are still alive, we who are here on this planet now have chosen to be here. Have chosen to be here so that we were born here in this time, in this realm. Because remember, there is no time. There's no past. There's no present. There is only now. Or there's no past, present, and future. There is only now. There's only ripples of the realms every time we do something. Okay? Time has been hacked up and measured up to control man. Punch in, punch out. Show up at school. Don't show up at school. Go to church on Sunday. All these things have been hacked up to control man. But it's going to happen. The vibrations are already rising. They are struggling to maintain the structure that is happening now. And the only way that is going to continue is if we allow it. It is time for us to come forward and say, chemicals on our land just poisons the planet. It doesn't go away. Poison in the air doesn't go away. It either comes down in the rain or ends up in our groundwater or ends up in our ground. This kind of crap is no longer acceptable. Right? We the people of this planet, we the people of the human race need to link our hearts and link our hands in a circle of light and say, no more. No more. This is not the way humanity was meant to survive and thrive. So where Dolores Cannon has amazing videos. Well, thank you. Thing is, yeah, I've actually watched some of Dolores Cannon on TikTok. We are doing that. Absolutely. The tyranny is coming to an end. There's no such thing in democracy as democracy in this country yet. Democracy, what democracy means, really, is that everybody has a say. Everybody. It is no longer sustainable that we go and put a piece of paper in a box and hope that the people who are counting that are telling the truth. Okay? That is a fallible system. It's never worked. Not properly. All right? People should be able to vote digitally. And I don't mean on a slot. I mean, we should be able to walk right up here to our camera and say, my name is, this is where I live. And this is what I want to happen in my government. Click, send it. Next, right? This is the way. Anything is better than the way it is right now. So, I am living in a place where I'm really blessed, where I've been really upset that the pottery store closed down. The 135-year-old, 40-year-old general store in Casabajwa closed down. Family owned for over 135 years. Everyone said, oh, well, they retired. Well, yeah, because they've been out of business for 2 years because of a pandemic. Who's not going to retire, right? If we continue to be against Mother Nature instead of with it, we won't be on this planet much. No, she's going to scrape us off like a piece of crap from a shoe. Because too long have we abused the right to live here. No, for too long have people used people for profit. Too long. Hi, Nana. What's going on, sweetheart? Not able to stay on here due to phone calls. We'll listen later. Okay, I'm going to scroll back and look for a purple N and see what's going on. Whatever it is, Nana, it will be covered in our prayers, okay? We will keep you there. Money is exactly. Money is the root of all evil. Where have you heard that? Even if you can't believe everything in the Bible, think about the lessons we have been taught. Even if it's hearsay, that Christ getting angry because people were in the chain doing a money exchange in the friggin' temple. Jesus never wanted to be worshipped. He was here to bring a message. That was it. That's all. And, anything else that's been written down is hearsay because it's fallible. It's all a part of that patriarchal system that has been meant to enslave us. Mother Earth is crying and dying. People going to vote in another prime minister. If Trudeau gets in again, even in a minority government, you are going to hear it from me right here, right now. The system's broken. He should never have got in the second time. He is the best example of a political puppet that I have ever seen. And I was so proud when he got in the first time. I have lost all faith in the social structures of religion, in the hierarchy and social structures of religion, of the hierarchy and social structures of politics, in the hierarchy and social structure of our healthcare systems of the world. There should be no hierarchy. There needs to be a collective agreement. It's that simple. This has gotten way out of hand. This is not, we only have one king, and that is Source, God of all creation. And I don't just mean on this. I think that's a raccoon. I don't think that's my frog. I think that's a raccoon. We are under a straight up dictatorship. Well, now, I'm going to talk about something that people are not. No, I'm not going to talk about it. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Because choices have already been made. Everything is now being set into motion for the way things are going to happen. Let's just say folks like Bill Gates and the Illuminati and the hierarchy of the Masons and all these, I don't like naming names, but they all exist. And they look at us as cattle. Now, if Bill Gates and his dad had his way, they would have created some kind of, placebo injection maybe, or something that most of the planet will agree to take, and it'll slowly kill them. But it won't be traced back to that placebo. Why? Because it's going to take years. Blood starts thickening, clotting. People have strokes. But some of the deaths are quick. Some of them are slow. Um, but if Bill Gates and people like that were in charge of things, that's what's probably would happen. We have a doctor note to raise. What? I live in a POA and our rules go against animals. However, you can have chickens if you get a doctor's note to raise them. Isn't that friggin' silly? My grandparents came over from Scotland in 1919. Their first child was born on Canadian soil, and then my father and his twin sister, whose twin sister died at birth. My dad remembers his mom died at 8. My mom died at 9, but when we were that age. But he remembers having chickens in your backyard. I don't know where, I've probably lost it. Always keep paper copies of important stuff, folks. But they used to, in World War I and World War II, they would tell you, raise chickens in your backyard. It's recycling leftover scraps. It's giving you eggs, and you get a chicken in your pot every once. But guess what? That was 100 years ago. All right? Everything goes in like 80 to 100 year cycles, and we're coming back to that. People are too smart. People are too aware of what's going on now. Okay? They're all scrambling. The Pope is scrambling. The Catholic Church is scrambling. Hierarchies up in churches and politics, and everybody's scrambling to maintain the status quo. Not going to happen. It's about to collapse. I'm going to say in the next 15 months to 2 years, in the next 600 to 700 years, the polar ice caps are going to melt. Florida will be underwater, Louisiana, but they're going to have communities. They're going to be building on stilts and all that stuff because it's something that you can't stop from happening at this point, right? So the poles are shifting and melting and the surface of the earth is going to change. So that's going to take out a lot. Our weather is going to take out a lot. These things are happening to change the amount of people that are on this planet. Donna Rowe, mandate to get vaccinated or be fired at the hospital where my daughter and granddaughter work. Probably the biggest employer in our area. Hi, Pony. Do you know what, Donna Rowe? The fact that they are buckling under that threat. Now, Howard has said the same thing. He said, Bev, with your health, we can't live in a cardboard box under a bridge. And I said, I understand that. Okay? And many, 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 many people on the planet are accepting the vaccine, which it's not, it's a shot. They are choosing this shot for what it is. And those are the volunteers that were born on this planet to do exactly what they're doing. All right? There is no judgment on choices, folks. And nor should anybody be forced to take a medical procedure in order to keep their job. Hell, you work in some places in GA. I had a cousin who couldn't work in one job unless her tubes were tied. That goes against every human right on the face of the earth. And if we allow that, no, goes against every basic human right. If someone were to force me, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If someone were to force me, say I got pregnant, I'm 57 years old and I got no ovaries, but say I got pregnant, it would be a miracle. But if the doctors tried to force me to have an abortion because of my health, because of my age, because I have to have cesarean sections, and my allergies to pain medications. They could say all those things, but they could not force me. Do you know why? Because it's against my human rights. So they can't force you to have a medical procedure in order to work. Don't swallow that Kool-Aid if you don't have to. But there is also, thank you, Cal. Hi, Cal. Hi. Howie's doing good. He's in the couch watching TV, and I'm going to be making supper soon. They tried with fear, and now they're trying with the fear of losing your job. It's against all of our human rights. They're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed. Oh, and by the way, Howie tested negative for COVID. Because, yeah, they tested him in the hospital before they could do the medical procedure. Because if he had COVID, they wouldn't have been able to do it. What's for dinner? I bought some lean strips of beef, broccoli, and sweet peppers and onions. And we're going to have that stir-fried with a little bit of olive oil and lots of seasoning. And we're going to have that over rice cooked in organic vegetable broth. That's what's supper tonight. We have until September 15th. I think this changed because so many will refuse. Well, it's our right. It's your right to refuse. And if they say you have to get the shot, I'm sorry. I'm already wearing, and now hear me on this. I'm actually think it's a good idea when you're in a public building, like a hospital or a Walmart or work. Okay, I actually think it is a really good idea to still practice somewhat of social distancing, sanitizing, and wearing masks. Why do I think that's a good idea? Because they are enclosed places that have HVAC systems that circulate the air. All right? Closed in spaces are like elevators. They're like bacteria incubators for infection. So I don't think that's a bad idea because guess what? I've been wearing a mask and I haven't caught the flu, and last year was my year to catch the flu. Why? Because I've been wearing a mask. So are they going to try and force me to have a shot? They better bloody well not. I have too many drug reactions. And in order for them to say without fail that I won't have a drug reaction to that, because it's not actually a pharmaceutical. It's actually science. It's a technological shot. It's not a medical shot. Hey, Lisa. You got common sense. That's not very common anymore. What is the light you have? That's cool. Oh, honey, that is my backdrop. If you remember at Christmas time, I made this so that I could put my Christmas tree in front of it. And those are my lights. Those lights fade in and out and they can change colors or whatever. But that was my strip lights. The clouds was my strip lights. If you watch them, they'll change color. They were my strip lights, and I didn't like the fact that I didn't have a whole lot of control over the pattern I had with them. So I tore them down, and for a while they hung out of one of those bin drawers. Remember the white tapes that were hanging out of the drawers? So one day I saw something on TikTok, and when I had the energy, I got on my step stool, and I eviscerated 2 pillows. And I put up my lights, and then I stapled clouds over them. So that is my cloudscape, and it gives me much joy. Much joy. Then my Dollar Tree pizza, which I shouldn't be eating. No, Angie Mac. Yes, thank you. Oh, I meant to put it back up a little bit so you could see. How would the vac interfere with mood-altering drugs? How do you know that? No. I'm not talking about mood-altering drugs. Oh, the vaccination? No, honey. You're not hearing me, Deborah C. I am allergic to many drugs. Librium, Valium, I can't take in an emergency. I could take aspirin as a heart attack remedy, but it's not something I could take because my stomach won't allow it, and I had a bad reaction to Celebrex. So therefore, anti-inflammatories, even before my gastric bypass, became a no-no because I would swell up. Okay? I can't have morphine, codeine, Demerol, Dilaudid, Lyrica, Celexa. I can't have any of that crap. Okay? I can take Tylenol, a muscle relaxer, which I have Robaxacet, which is both. I can take my mood disorder meds and my lorazepam. Anything else is suspect. Hell, before they made me a legal marijuana user back in 2013, they tried me on a THC synthetic pill, which I reacted to. So, I stopped getting the flu shot. When the last time I got the flu shot, I ended up with bronchial pneumonia. Or like bronchitis, really bad. Because I got the flu from the flu shot, but it developed into more. So, do you really think I'm going to let them inject me with a non-proven experimental shot with nanotechnology? Do you honestly think I'm going to allow that in my body? Sorry, not happening. Had COVID last year, so natural antibodies, not taking any vaccine for. Good for you, Lisa. It's got to be the fillers in the drugs. My old boss was like that too, allergic to random drugs. Well, see, the thing is that when I've had about 9 surgeries that I can count, okay? And I'm sorry, we're running really long here. The first one was I got my tonsils out when I was 12. And I did nothing but throw up from the time I was in the hospital to the time I got home. Why? Because they gave me Demerol and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Then I had giant cell tumors removed. Now, wait a second. When I was 16, I had bilateral mammaral reduction surgery. And back then, they didn't just, they filleted your whole breast open. And I had 5 pounds of tissue removed. And as soon as I woke up and I wanted a cigarette, they had given me Demerol. And I threw up all over the place. Can't have Demerol. But nobody caught on to that until they didn't catch on to it then either. When I was 17, I had giant cell tumors removed from this baby finger. And I was throwing up all the way home. And they had put me on something for at home called Talwin, which I didn't respond to well either and couldn't take as much as prescribed. Then I had my ovaries. I had a growth on my left ovary when I was in my early 20s, 21, 22. And I went into the hospital when I was living in Toronto, and this was during a doctor's strike, but it was growing so fast they thought it was cancer. And I had the growth removed from my ovary. It was benign. And I got pregnant 8 weeks later. Okay. But I woke up in my room with my brother beside me and a big vase of roses from my other brother, to a nurse walking towards me with a syringe. Now this is what I mean about listen to yourself. Don't let anybody tell you different, okay? I woke up like this, and she was coming towards me with a shot. Because I guess they must have told my brother to call them when I woke. And I said, "What's in that needle?" And because I'm still high from the anesthetic, she didn't listen to me. She said, "Oh, it's Demerol." And I said, "Do not give me that shot." Anybody who knows me knows this story, okay? And she said, why not? I said, I'm allergic to Demerol. And she said, well, it doesn't say so on your charts. And I said, no, I just figured it out. And she kind of almost rolled her eyes. Well, she said, well, we're giving it to you with Gravol, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I was like, ugh. And she gave me the Demerol, and she didn't even get to the nurse's station where I was vomiting all over myself. And my brother Bill's going, ooh, oh, honey, oh, baby, oh, right? And he's ringing for the nurse, and he's trying to clean me up. And the nurse comes in, and she goes, what happened? And I said, you gave me Demerol, you stupid bitch. And she went, and Billy went, ooh, and she said, no, I get it. I'm sorry. It's okay. Right? So they switched me to morphine. Then I had Briar. Then I had Arthur, C-section, and morphine worked great. Then I had Briar. Morphine worked great. Then I had to have a hernia repaired. And it was an in and out day surgery. I had an incarcerated umbilical hernia, which was pinching off a piece of my bowel, which they did not have to. I'm so blessed, man. So many things could have gone so many wrong in my life. And when I woke up from the hernia surgery, I woke up on the gurney, like in recovery, right? But I mean, Howie was like right there in my room. They were just waiting to bring me in. And the nurse had a needle, and I said, what's that? And she said, it's morphine. She said, I'm going to inject it slow into your intravenous. You might feel a little burning. And I said, oh no, morphine's good. I'm all right. Go for it. Not anymore. Boom, 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 boom. My arm went boom, boom, boom. Doubled in size. I started to try and yank out the intravenous. And then they, I didn't make it. I made it to the toilet, and I was throwing up all over the place. Whoa, you can't have morphine anymore. Every time I use pharmaceutical painkillers, I can only use them so often before they are no longer working for me and become dangerous. That's why I'm not getting a vaccine. Long story, sorry, but are completely exhausted and hanging on by a thread. Less people in hospitals is a must. Oh, I get it, boo. I get it. I totally get it. But the people that were affected the most were people who were elderly or had pre-existing conditions. You know what I mean? Who had, compromised immune systems, compromised breathing systems, elderly. Okay? These are the people, right? These are the people that we've lost the most of. So I agree, right? But I also don't agree that vaccinating people after they've had COVID is a good idea, because it doesn't even stop you from getting it. They just say, oh, it's just mitigates it. But guess what? I've had double vaccinated people not want to touch me because I am unvaccinated. Why is that supposed to make sense? They're the ones with the double vaccination, right? Why am I suddenly a threat? I'm not. You're a threat to me. Because guess what? The variants. Oh, the variants. Well, they can't even test for the variants. They only have one test, a COVID test. So, I mean, we have to start critical thinking. You gonna pop in and say hi? Because we're still here.
Hi.
Here.
It's time to feed.
I was just telling everybody I'm going to start dinner right shortly.
And Billy and Jess are coming to visit tomorrow.
But I haven't made the jam.
I'm just telling you what I know.
Awesome. My brother Billy's coming tomorrow, which means I got to vacuum and do dishes and stuff. Everyone says, hi, Howie. Like one of my nieces got COVID and she was like, she isolated. She quarantined. She went through it, but she was like, this is it? Because she was young and healthy and didn't smoke and doesn't drink. Well, often, right? But why would she get the vaccine? Why would she get something that's going to destroy the antibodies, that push aside the antibodies that will potentially recognize any variants, right? Anyway, I have to go. Holy crap, I've been on here an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm sorry, I'm not really ranting. And I'm not trying to wake people up. I'm just trying to state the obvious that, a lot of people have been blinded and funneled into this program by fear. Fear of losing their jobs, fear of dying, fear of infecting the elderly, fear of blah, 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 fear, fear, fear. We cannot no longer operate because of fear. We have to operate on a basis of love and faith and connection with each other. Right? Yeah, I know, Mary Jane. I'm getting off. I'm going to answer the phone. What? Okay, folks, it is now time to close. And nobody has to stay for this. This is a non-denominational spiritual prayer to the God of your understanding, your faith. Mine, I call the source of all. I call creator of all. I call God. That's who I call God. And my God created everything, including the aliens. So, absolutely Angie Mack. So for all those who care to, please help me close with a push of spiritual light and upliftment for each other and for everybody on the planet. Because even if they don't know it, hey, if we give them enough light, it's going to soak into them like whiskey into a fine cask, right? So here we go. They are the heroes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The heroes. They fought. The medical community fought and fought and fought. And they also are being forced into believing stuff that they're just so overwhelmed. This is the thing. The medical community became so overwhelmed that they just fell on any solution to help. They didn't, Anyway. I chose to protect myself as best I can by getting it. Everyone has choice to get it or not. Well, not if things keep going the way they are. It won't be a choice for people like me. And that's what we need to protect, is our right to choose our own medical procedures. All right? If I had cancer, you can't force me to have chemo. Right? Just saying. All right. So a lot of people have left, so let's do our closing prayer. Spiritual push of light. And when I ask you to join hearts and join hands, I ask you to picture that in your mind, because we become a closed circuit and therefore more powerful to amplify God's light and love. Okay? Me too, Angie Mack. I've been hospitalized 4 times this month, and I am so sad for them, the stress they have. Yeah. Like, that's why I'm so glad Howie was like, boop, boop, in and out in like 48 hours. Yeah. Let's all take a nice deep breath. Everybody just has to do the best they can with the information they have. No judgment. Right? As long as our rights to choose are protected, right? We all can support each other. This is not about division. This is about unifying the world, removing the structured walls that have been slammed down between us for millennia. The more we connect, the more powerful we become in God's light, right? All right, deep breath. Oh, creator of all, source of everything. Hey God, how's it going? And say hi to our son, your son, our brother Christ, who you gave to us to teach us that love is the answer, not a design of love, love itself. God, we come together because there's a lot of fear out in the world. There's a lot of people facing decisions they don't want to make. There's a lot of people that are ill. There's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of people alone, afraid, neglected, rejected, ill, abused. God, we come together to lift those people up to you so that the healing light of your love may soak into them, even if they're not aware of you, God. We're praying for them. So God, if it be thy will, look after those folks. We know some of them are not going to make the right choices and some of them are, but it doesn't matter. They're not our choices to make. We lift them to you, God. But God, now we want you to fuel our light, as you always do, but we're going to ask you to give us a push. We're going to link hearts and we're going to link hands. And we are going to ask you, God, to flood us with the light of love and peace and acceptance. And we're going to focus on that light until our ring becomes so brilliant that we are no longer seen. Only the light of your love is there, and we can no longer contain that light, and we push it out. And it makes a big, beautiful, clear dome, like a soap bubble of love, where all the people who are suffering, where all the people who are having a hard time finding their light, or finding peace, or finding support, where all your light workers will stand and maintain to hold that dome in place, while others who are having a hard time can take shelter, and while the dark workers will be bounced off. Thank you, God, for powering us with your love so that we may reach out and help these people be protected by the light of your love. Please, God, look after my family right now as we face yet another fatality in our ranks. Give them love. Those nearest to, give them love and support. May we all be there for each other in the days to come. Amen. Namaste. Shalom. Miigwech. Blessed be. Merry meet. Merry part. Peace be with you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We connected. And God heard. He always does. Take care. God bless. I gotta go make supper for Howie. I love you guys. Don't ever forget that. The idea of love is not the answer. Love itself is.